Just ahead of the Kerala elections, Rahul Gandhi brought the spotlight back on Sabrimala, not just as a matter of faith but as a question of political accountability. During his visit, he directly targeted PM Narendra Modi, asking why a leader who often speaks about temples, traditions and dharmic values has remained silent on what he described as the Sabrimala gold theft issue. His statement was,
Prime Minister came here yesterday to Kerala. Wherever he goes, he talks about temples and religion. In every speech, he's talking about temple and religion. But somehow, he has forgotten about what happened in Sabrimala. He has forgotten that the left front leaders stole from Ayyappaji. He has forgotten that the left front leaders took the gold of Ayyappa temple and replaced it with brass.
In today's video, we are diving deep in one of the most debated and controversial topics coming out of Kerala. What exactly is the Sabrimala gold theft issue and why has it suddenly become a political flashpoint? We'll break down the allegations, what the investigation has revealed so far, but that's not all. Because Sabrimala has already been at the center of another massive national debate, the ban on women's entry into the temple. We'll also understand why women were earlier restricted from entering the Sabrimala temple, what traditions and beliefs were behind this practice, and how it turned into a historic legal battle in the Supreme Court of India. Hi, this is Nimisha and you're watching Gist. So what exactly is the Sabrimala gold theft issue? To understand this, we need to go deeper into what is being called the Sabrimala gold theft controversy. Sabrimala temple, visited by millions of devotees every year, has found itself at the center of shocking investigation lately. The controversy began when the Kerala High Court observed that there were credible evidence suggesting that some temple idols have been stripped of their gold covering. Now, gold and silver plating of idols is not unusual in Indian temples. Devotees often donate precious metals as offerings, and these are used to decorate idols, pillars, and temple structures. But what shocked everyone in this case was the scale and nature of the alleged theft. The focus of investigation is on two idols called Dwarpalkas, the divine gatekeepers positioned just outside the sanctum where Lord Ayyappa resides. Lord Ayyappa is a Hindu deity worshipped at the Sabrimala temple. He is believed to be the son of Lord Shiva and Mohini, the female avatar of Vishnu, and is known as Naishthik Brahmachari, meaning an eternal celibate. Now, coming back to the case, this came to light last year in September when a report by a court-appointed Sabrimala Special Commissioner revealed that the gold cladding of these idols had been removed in several places. This prompted the Kerala High Court to step in and order a detailed probe. A special investigation team or SIT was formed and the police launched an inquiry into what the court later described as an extraordinary case involving the pilferage of the sacred valuables. As the investigation unfolded, it revealed some startling details. Temple records showed that back in 1998 and 1999, around 30.291 kilograms of gold had been used for gold cladding various parts of the temple, including idols, pillars, door frames, and decorative panels. This gold was reportedly donated by businessman Vijay Mallya. Fast forward to July 2019, this is where the controversy deepens. The Travancore Devasam Board, which manages the temple, allowed a former assistant priest named Unni Krishnan Potte to take the idols for the recladding. 2 months later, the idols were brought back, but crucially, they were not weighed at that time. Later investigations by the SIT revealed that the idols were significantly lighter. What did this mean? According to the findings presented in the court, approximately 4.54 kilograms of gold had gone missing since 2019. And it wasn't just the idols. The investigation also found signs of gold being removed from pedestals, door frames, and other parts of the temple. The judges monitoring the case used strong words, calling it a heist and plundering of Lord Ayyappa's sacred valuables. So far, 3 people have been arrested in the connection with the case, including the former assistant priest. The High Court has been closely monitoring the investigation, holding regular hearings and demanding detailed records from temple authorities. In fact, the judges themselves remarked that when they initially asked for the files related to the idol repairs, they had no idea they were opening a hornet's nest. But beyond this immediate political exchange lies a much deeper and older controversy, the Sabrimala temple entry issue, which has been one of the most debated intersections of faith, gender rights and constitutional law in modern India. The temple has been at the center of one of India's most intense and emotional debates, the question of women's entry. To understand this, we need to go back into the history and traditions of the temple. Sabrimala temple is dedicated to Lord Ayyappa, a deity believed to be Naishtik Brahmachari or eternal celibate. This belief forms the foundation of many rituals associated with the temple, including the long-standing practice of restricting the entry of women of menstruating age, generally between 10 and 50 years. For devotees, this restriction was never framed as discrimination but as a necessary aspect of preserving the sanctity of the deity's celibate nature. The Sabrimala pilgrimage itself is unlike most others. Devotees undertake a 41 days vratam, a period of strict discipline that includes celibacy, abstinence from certain foods, and a simple, austere lifestyle. The journey to the temple, located deep within the forest hills, is physically demanding and spiritually symbolic. Within this framework, the restriction on women of certain age group was seen as a part of temple's unique identity. The entry issue first came into legal focus in a major way in 1991 when the Kerala High Court upheld the ban, ruling that the restriction was a long-standing custom and did not violate constitutional principles. For nearly 2 decades after that, the practice continued without major national controversy. However, as debates around gender equality gained momentum in India, the issue resurfaced. In 2006, a petition was filed in the Supreme Court of India challenging the ban on constitutional grounds. The argument was straightforward: denying entry to women based on biological factors violate their fundamental rights to equality, dignity, and freedom of religion. This case slowly moved through the legal system, but it was in 2018 that everything changed. The turning point came in 2018 when the Supreme Court of India delivered a landmark judgment. In a 4:1 majority verdict means 5 judges heard the case and 4 of them agreed on the final decision, while 1 judge disagreed. The court ruled that the restriction on women's entry violated fundamental rights, including equality before the law and freedom of religion. The court held that such a ban could not be justified under constitutional principles and that women of all ages should be allowed entry into the temple. The verdict triggered one of the largest protest movements in Kerala's recent history. Thousands of devotees took to the streets arguing that the court has misunderstood the nature of the tradition. For them, the issue was not just about equality but about preserving a unique religious practice. On the other side were activists and citizens who supported the judgment, viewing it as a necessary step towards gender justice. The political responses to the crisis revealed clear differences in approach. The BJP strongly opposed the implementation of the verdict, positioning itself as a defender of faith and tradition. Its leaders argued that the sentiments of the devotees must be respected and that the court's decision should not be enforced against public will. The party actively supported protests and used the issue to mobilize support in Kerala. The Congress, led by Rahul Gandhi at the national level, stated that it respects the Supreme Court's verdict but also stands with the believers who are hurt by the decision. Rahul Gandhi himself said the tradition should be respected, reflecting an attempt to balance constitutional values and religious sentiments. The CPM government in Kerala, however, took a firm stand in favor of implementing the court's order. It deployed police forces to ensure that women who wished to enter the temple could do so safely. This led to confrontations on the ground, with protesters trying to block entry. In January 2019, 2 women managed to enter the temple under police protection, marking a historic moment, but also triggered widespread backlash, including protests and calls for purification rituals. Lawyers like J. Sai Deepak, who represented devotees in the Supreme Court of India, argued that Sabrimala is not just another temple, but a unique religious denomination with its own distinct identity and traditions. According to him, the restriction on the entry of women of a certain age group was not just about discrimination, but about preserving the celibate nature of Lord Ayyappa. He also raised a larger constitutional question whether courts should decide what qualifies as an essential religious practice or whether that the authority should remain with the devotees themselves. This argument brought back forward a crucial tension between religious freedom and constitutional morality, marking the Sabrimala issue far more complex than just a question of entry. Following these events, multiple review petitions were filed in Supreme Court. In 2019, the court decided to refer the matter to a larger bench, linking it to broader questions about religious freedom and the extent of judicial intervention in a religious practice. This means that while the 2018 verdict has not been overturned, its final status remains uncertain and the issue continues to be legally unresolved. Today, both the gold-related allegations and the women's entry issue remains active in different ways. The gold issue continues to surface in political speeches and debates, often without a single conclusive legal outcome. The temple entry issue remains caught between a standing Supreme Court judgment and an ongoing legal review, making it a live constitutional question. Sabrimala is not entirely unique in having specific entry-related traditions. Across India, there are temples with distinctive conditions shaped by local beliefs. For instance, Kamakhya temple has rituals associated with the menstruation cycle of the goddess, during which the temple remains closed for a few days every year. Similarly, Shani Shignapur temple has restrictions on women entering certain areas, which were later lifted after protests and legal interventions. What makes Sabrimala stand out is the scale and intensity of the debate. It's not just about one temple or one tradition, it's about how a society negotiates the balance between faith, equality, between age-old customs and contemporary constitutional principles. And this is why, years after the original controversies, it continues to be raised in political speeches, especially during elections. And now the conversation extends to you. Do you know of other temples or traditions with similar stories or unique practices? Share them in the comments below. This was today's Gist Explained. See you in the next video.